Hello! You know, it's been a few months since my last video, so I thought I would get the camera out while I'm walking down to, I'm just going for a wee walk. Just thought I'd get the camera out there. It's just talk, it's walk and talk. You know, the last video I made was about some specific things I was speaking about regarding what do you call it? It's called sensitivity to magnetic fields. There's an acronym for it. You can tell I'm not prepared for this video, you know, I just press record, so a few minutes just to get some air into my lungs so I can speak. What's the acronym for? It's electrosensitivity. There's a 3-letter acronym for it. So I found that when I came back from hospital, I was really sensitive to magnetic fields. That's evident. So let's just talk about that for a second. So I've just clicked something on the screen. So I was staying in hospital for 3.5 weeks. And during that time, there's a few strange things that happened that I've not spoken about, and I need to speak about it. I mean, I've got nobody to speak about it with, right? Because I mean, it's kind of hard to talk about. I find it easier to speak about these things, like basically to a camera, you know, to a camera instead of speaking to people about it. So what happened was, so I've been away from technology for, it must have been 3 weeks. I was away from everything. Alright guys, I was away from everything and press the button there. Give me a second. It's just hard to make these videos, you know, because there's a lot of stuff that's going on. Regarding my son, I've not seen my son in 3 years. I'm still waiting for the court case to get held. My court case got adjourned. My court case there, the family court hearing to see my son, it got adjourned. Because they wanted psychiatric reports. They wanted psychiatric reports from the doctor, but my doctor's not available to make any reports, and so they've had to postpone my hearing for another 5 months. So there's a lot of extreme injustice going on in my life regarding my son, regarding my family, who are all out to get my son. They're all out to get him and harm his future. They're all trying to slander me, saying I'm a bad dad. All the kind of bullshit you get from these weirdos, you know, who want to attack a child's future, because that's what they're doing. They try to stop me from seeing my own son. You know, I gifted this boy to this woman. So I did. And she stole him. She stole him, but not only did she steal him, she's using him to put me through an absolute hell. She's putting me through absolute hell, this woman, so she is. And she's doing it using my son. I think I'd be making more videos if it wasn't for that stuff. You know, I've been keeping myself busy. I do a lot of creative stuff. but I don't let this get me down. But I'm really it's really it's affecting me big time. You know, I'm really upset all the time. I'm emotional. I'm crying most days, so I am, because of this, because of the pain. So it helps. That's why I say, like, when I make these videos, it helps me. Because I mean, you can't really speak to anybody about your problems because everybody's got their own problems, you know. So you can't really effectively speak to a lot of people these days about what's going on in your life, because there's a certain specific level. You can't really, I mean, maybe it's just me, I've just got no one around me. People are all unactivated. I wouldn't call people fake. Right? I don't call people fake anymore, they're just unactivated. And if you try and, like, and that's why other people are helpful, you know. If you've got problems, you can speak to people about what's going on in your life. But with specific problems, people just give you looks like, well, what did you do? What did you do for this woman to do this? Were you violent? Was it? You can see that in the back of your mind. See, when you tell people that, oh, my ex-partner's not let me see my son, you see the looks on their faces. All sorts of fucking things going on in their mind. So that's the kind of shit we've got to put up with. People who get alienated from their kids by their wicked ex-partners. We've got to put up with a lot of bullshit and a lot of just a lot. It's just bullshit. Just put it in a bracket. It's absolute bullshit, nonsense. The amount of nonsense that I'm going through right now. And so, I mean, I'm a very motivational person. I'm full of energy. But to make these videos, it takes a lot, you know. I mean, well, it doesn't take a lot. I could make videos every day, but see, when I know that it's helping people and, like, people are, like, benefiting from the content I'm putting up here, then that's good. That's good news, you know. I'm glad that it's at least helping someone. I mean, I'm putting these videos up. You get no likes. That's not why I put my videos up, for likes. But if you feel the content's getting no attention, then what's the point in doing more? When you're getting, like, I mean, people like myself, activated people, we get shadow banned and censored, when numbers get manipulated, there's all sorts of mind games getting played. Other mind games get played by the unactivated 24/7. But all it's done is made me stronger. They put you under a lot of pressure. You can either get crushed by it or just let it turn into a diamond. I think all the pressure we get put under our whole lives can crush you, basically, and you can live like a it's a stupid analogy, but imagine you're a tin can. All the pressure that gets put on you, you just get crushed. So you walk about in your life and you're just a crushed tin can, right? So you need to withstand it. And we just basically need to do whatever. Alright, bro? We just need to basically do whatever we feel, you know. And I feel making videos and speaking about things is a very effective way to get through, to understand the process, what's going on in your life. And it really works. I wouldn't be doing this if it wasn't, like, effective. It is, and that's what I'm saying. I don't do these videos for other people, I do this for myself. So I don't, like, make out like a perfect script and everything's perfect, and I just use this technology in order to help myself, right? And it's helpful. And let's just walk past here. Right, so where was I? What was I talking about that? I mean, there's something I was wanting to speak about, and I need to speak about it. I need to articulate it and speak about it, because something happened that I'm trying to understand at the hospital, and it's very difficult to speak about, but I need to speak about it. So where do I start? Where do I start? So just start by, wait till we get down. Actually, we walk over the bridge and then I'll try and get into it. But yeah, I mean, this is about the time. If you've noticed my videos, I make a video like once a month or once every 2 months recently. I did say in my last video I wanted to make more videos, but it's just motivational. To get the motivation. But that's the thing, I've always got the motivation. I've always got things to say, I've always got things to speak about. It's kind of weird, you know. All you need to do is, like, I mean, if you've got no one to speak to about things that's happening in your life, the most obvious thing is to try and get your thoughts out there. I mean, if your experiences and everything you're experiencing is just going round and round in your mind and you can't get them out, you need to transmute it. You need to transmute it into, start writing, put it into music, make art, or just speak about it. So, I mean, I don't care, I walk about with the camera and speak my mind, you know. So let's just go up here a second and think about something else. Right, so okay, wait, so I feel like my YouTube account is being shadow banned. I know it's being shadow banned. You know, people are speaking about important content and we just get shadow banned and filtered and put into an echo chamber, but then you get people who upload a lot of bullshit about nonsense and it gets millions of views. We're in a backwards world. Backwards. I can see, and it is backwards, pretty backwards, when people are trying to speak about important things but we can just get ignored. And then, I mean, that's only purposely done, so it makes you basically to take your motivation away. You look at your numbers and it's like, oh well, no, but nobody's interested, what is the point? But then again, it's not for other people, it's for me. But at the same time, I know for a fact that my YouTube channel is getting censored and manipulated. Same with my Twitter account. So I'm going to get a GoPro anyway, because just walking around with this camera, holding this camera up. When I see I'm walking past people, I don't want to shove a camera in people's faces, so I just point it at the ground. We're just going to walk up here. So you want to try and find a way to get your experiences out, then turn your pain into power, turn your pain into someone else's. You can be there for other people just by being yourself, you know. That's one thing you realise. He's really busy. So we'll walk up this way. See, there's a lot of pauses in this video. I'm just going to like pause for a minute, because that's what I was going to say. Right, see the last video. The last video when I was speaking about when I went up to Balloch Park and I was just speaking my mind. I kind of got carried away, you know. Sometimes when you just speak your mind, you can get carried away, and I was shouting at the media. No, fuck the media. Watch out, birds. Get yourself run over, get some chips. And seagull nearly got run over there. So basically I think I just got bit carried away, so let's just try it again and see if it comes out right. Because you do get carried away, see when you're under a lot of injustice. A lot. Fucking hell of a lot of injustice going on. And then you find a medium to speak your mind, you can get carried away. And so I watched that video back a couple of times, and I was like, next time I'm just gonna be like, try and keep myself calm, you know. Keep myself calm when I'm, especially see when you're speaking about stuff that's going on in your life. It can take you away. It could make you, could really make you emotional, and you can start screaming and shouting, and it takes away from the point. From the whole point of the matter, and you can't really get your point across when you're screaming and shouting. But it's not intentional, it's just because you're really fired up about stuff. Because do you know what? That's how normal people deal with things, right? We speak about them. See when you got nobody to speak to about anything, because they wouldn't understand anyway. I mean, who's got the time to listen to all of this? Exactly. That's why it's important to utilise technology, and especially if you've got a lot of energy, because there's a lot of people out there we've got a lot of energy, and we can just blab on and on and on and on. About stuff, right? But this stuff, it's important to us. People might think we're just going on and just like, you know, people like just like to tell you just to get on with it, just to suck it up and things like that. No, don't suck it up, because you'll end up like a freaking stone. You end up like you get unactivated. You get unactivated. You'll decrease your energy if you keep things inside, and you can build up layers and layers, and you can end up really dense. You become really dense, full of matter. A lot of matter on your mind. So you can, especially in this day and age, you know, when there's a lot of strange things going on. But I feel that's another story really, but I feel as if I wouldn't be where I am right now if it wasn't for all the weird things that's going on right now, because I feel as if, well, I know that a lot of the activity that's taking place right now with the people, well, I mean, in my case, I've used it to sharpen my mind and work on perhaps weaknesses which was there. And I'm talking about weaknesses in my concentration, weaknesses in your peripheral vision, you know, being able to concentrate. See, when it's like torture, you know, like extreme torture, psychological torture, you know, and it can either make you or break you. And I feel for specific individuals out there, we don't get broken, no, we bloom, and we use these times, because I mean, we use these times to grow, right? So that's what I've done. I know there's a lot of people out there who's, so I say that again, I know there's people who look at the whole thing with, well, the way I used to look, because you go through stages with this, you know. You go through stages where you're like looking at everybody, and because you're raising your consciousness, right, you can see things. If look at the film, right, They Live. Look at the film They Live. This guy, he found a pair of glasses, right? Well, he found boxes full of them, didn't he? He's put these glasses on, and all of a sudden, the people around him, you can see like right through them. Like they've got skeletons and like they're not human. That type of thing, right? Well, that's an analogy of when you get your sight. When you get your sight, they know. And when you can see them, they know. And so the specific stages we go through, you know, I've been through all the stages. If you look at my videos, you know, I went through the stages where I was shouting at people. You know, like, what? Shouting at people, going off my nut. I've went through all that stage, you know, videoing them, like, oh, look at these strange people, what they're doing, they're acting really strange. So I went through that stage. Then you go through the stage where, well, you can get stuck in that stage for a lifetime. Where you just forever, perpetually mind boggled, you're perpetually confused and in a state of, I don't know, what would you call that? Well, anyway, the only way you can get past that stage is through knowledge and information. Not only about the world, but about yourself. You need to know what's going on in yourself, and see, when you know what's going on in yourself, then what's going on outside will make sense. Because, I mean, I'll tell you right now, the people are growing and evolving, and the consciousness is rising, right? So say we've been down in the dirt for a long time, and there's these other forces. I mean, they've not grown above us. These other forces are a specific level, right? But our consciousness has been down in the dirt, and the forces have kept humanity in a low state of consciousness, and it still goes on. Still goes on. And it's like a filter. And once you start to raise your consciousness, I mean, next thing you know, you start to see through things. You start to like see what you couldn't see before. Things become apparent. And that's when the lower consciousnesses, or the people, or the unactivated folk who are under the control of the lower consciousness forces, get activated. So basically, when you activate, they activate. So that's why in that film They Live, when he puts the glasses on, as soon as he puts the glasses on and he sees the people, that they're not human, and that there's something going on with them. And by the way, in that film, they're all communicating with some kind of thing on their wrist. They've got a communicator on their wrist, so they all speak to each other. And as soon as he puts the glasses on, he sees them and they see him. Right? So as soon as you get activated, society gets active, or the parts of society gets activated, and that's there to, it's there to for a reason, and it's like the next stage. And a lot of people will get stuck in that stage where you're just continually like bamboozled by a lot of the strange things that's going on. You know, all the synchronizations with people and all the sounds and all the mind invasion. I mean, there's a lot of strange things that could send the average person insane, or it could put you into a perpetual state of you just wanting to like fight or flight or survival. It's a perpetual state of survival. If you can get past that stage, then you realise that when you've got past that stage, because you would have used the previous stage to strengthen your mind and to strengthen your mind basically. It's all about strengthening your mind, and if it doesn't strengthen your mind, then it's going to destroy your mind, and they'll turn you inside out if you let them. But that's not, I was going to say that's not their intention, but you know, it is. It is. It's like a stress test, right? See when you get new hardware, any overclockers will know this. You put your hardware through stress tests, right, to see how much it could take, and then when it hits the barrier where it crashes, well, you know how much it can take, and you know how strong it is, and you know how far you could push it. So you could say the same thing with people, with specific people who get pushed to the limit. They get stress tested, and that's what's going on. Is a global stress test happening, and it can send you insane. You get tested on every single possible level you could think of. And I mean, especially if you're watching media and you notice that when specific energies are getting shown, there'll be an outside influence at the same time. But I could speak about that another time. It's something. Basically, our minds are under attack, right? And our minds are under attack, and there's nowhere to go, really. Well, there is really, because they want you out in nature. There's always somewhere to go. Actually, I shouldn't say that. You just go out into nature. That's a place to go when things get too much. Because all your neighbours are stress testing you. Your community's stress testing you. Everybody's taking part. And from my point of view, I've got a different view on it now, because I've really pushed myself to understand everything. I mean, I don't want to give too much away, because I mean, this whole thing is like a secret, right? So I just need to be careful what I'm saying, because you know, it's sacred. I mean, it's all part of the earth initiation. I don't want to ruin it, because I know why it's here, and it's basically here to help you evolve, really. And listen, you get nowhere. You get nowhere if you don't have people challenging you, or trying to attack your every waking thought, or trying to triangulate things you're watching on media to you personally, constantly. And if you're still getting shaken up by that, then you basically got a weakness there that's not been seen. So all these things do is to show you your weaknesses, and if you're big enough to see your weaknesses and to know them, and to, like, you know what, perhaps maybe my mind shouldn't be there. It should be somewhere else. I mean, I know there's a lot of people out there having a hard time with this, right? I would love just to tell you all exactly what's going on. I do. I just did. Just to like help people out a little bit. But there's only so much you can say, you know. I think everybody that's going to make it and to initiate, there's a wind blowing in this microphone. Maybe I should go up that way. Why? Because I'm in the middle of a field here. Let's go up here. Right, what was I going to say? Right, so in order to pass your initiation on Earth, you need to go through a series of trials. When you get to a certain point in your evolution, in your growth, the trials will come to you, into your life. They'll take over your family, they'll take over your friends, your community, your neighbours. They'll move people in next door to you to help you. But it's up to you which way you see that, you know. I mean, people have done horrific things, been under this stress. I tell you, a lot of the world's ills is caused by this very system, right? But you know, it may right, that's all I'm going to say on that. Let's go up this way. So, I mean, the whole thing could make you paranoid. It could make you. It could either decrease you or increase you. It's a double-edged sword, really. Could drive you insane. And if you don't align and really find a balance, you will find it hard and you will struggle if you do not come together and find out what it is that's really rattling you. Because it's not necessarily coming from an outside influence. It's how you think, it's how you react, it's how you breathe, it's how you live your life, it's what you do with your day, it's your lifestyle. And that'll all determine how you will react to these times. I mean, I was watching Star Wars last week. Star Wars, the Revenge of the Sith. Oh no, sorry, it was no, the one with the wee boy who was in the racer. Is that Attack of the Clones? Anyway, right, but see that one, see when the Jedi, it wasn't Obi-Wan, it was the other guy, realised that this boy had a high midichlorian count. They went to the Jedi Council and they said, they asked for permission to start the trials. There's a clue. Right, so, I mean, there's a lot of information in movies. It's not sci-fi, it's all based on truth. They put a lot of hidden occult information in movies. And if you're lost for information and you can't find stuff anywhere, hey, put some sci-fi movies on, because there's always something in it. Especially the old epics, you know, like Star Wars, even the Avengers. There's always something in the movies that will help you. Specific people during these times, it will help you because they put things in plain sight, you see. Because we're not totally in the darkness. I mean, they don't just give you everything in a silver platter. You need to get out there. You need to search, you need to look. You need to find specific pieces of the puzzle that could help you. The specific pieces of the puzzle that can build a picture for you and maybe help you to see what's going on. It is really, I would advise everybody to study these movies, to be honest with you, because they're full of vital information that you won't get anywhere else. And tell you what, you get nothing like it in the mainstream media. Nothing like it on the news. You get zero knowledge like that in the mainstream media. All that thing there is a machine to steal your mind, and you pay no attention to it. And people spend all day watching mainstream media. It's going to deactivate you. You're not going to spiritualize paying attention to programs. You're going to become more denser. You're going to turn into matter. You materialize. You don't want to materialize, you want to dematerialize. You get to the point where you've dematerialized so much because you've changed the lifestyle. It could happen within 3 weeks. You've dematerialized to such a point where you feel like your hands are on fire. You feel like your whole body's on fire. You go up to the plants. You feel something. Like one day I was in the hospital, and there was a place. Now, I'll overlay pictures on this. There was a place called the Secret Garden. She was just over a hill. It was just like 15 metres away from the ward. And I've went up to this place. It's called the Secret Garden, and it's all happened in sequence. You know, I feel like my whole life built up to that moment, that day, on the 17th. And I tell you what happened that day. That day I went for a walk into the hospital, through the wards. You know, I was allowed to go for a walk through the wards, down to the chapel. I just decided to go for a walk down to the chapel. There's nothing much there, it was just a couple of seats and a podium. I thought, I was expecting like a chapel, you know, like maybe you could go and sit in there and hear some preaching from priests or something, you know, something. But it wasn't, it was just a room. So I've came back and I've walked down the hallway, and it was on the way. I've seen it on the way there, but on the way back I've noticed there was a painting on the wall, and it was a guy sitting on a chair. Right, there's a guy sitting on a chair, and behind him there was a painting of Jupiter, and there was you know, Jupiter's got a big red spot. It's a huge perpetual storm. So the guy sitting in the chair, and behind him is a painting, and on top of his head you've got Jupiter's red spot. And I'll overlay the picture, right? So I took a picture of that. That was the first thing. Then I've went up and sat in the hill. I've sat in the hill, overlooking the ward. And there was a tower it was a chimney. There was a big chimney. And I was waiting for this chimney to align with the sun for some strange reason. So I've waited for this thing. Waited for the sun to align with... I've got another picture, I'll overlay them. I've waited for the sun to align to this tower, and I've took a picture. And the time was 1 minute past 11. Right? Totally unintentional. And by the way, as I was waiting for the sun was just about to align with the tower, right? And the police helicopter flew past, boosh, just as it aligned, you know, and I've taken a picture of it. So that was this next thing. Then I decided to go for a walk up to the secret garden, and for a bit of context, for the past 3 weeks previously I had been doing chi exercises, breathing exercises, Reiki, stretches, and I was really calm, clear, crystal clear, okay. So actually, no, see, before this, I would be sitting in my room, because I had no stimulation. I was staying off my phone as well, because I thought I had to like align and just sit in silence. So I was doing that for a while, but I started to see a geometric shape in my mind, and it wasn't in my mind; it was in my mind's eye. I started to see the Star of David glowing in my mind's eye, right? And it was so vivid, right? It started to feel like I was on acid or something, but that was just the Holy Spirit. And so this has happened like for a few days. I've started to see this symbol in my mind's eye, and then it started to appear when my eyes were open. And one day I was looking at it, this glowing symbol. It was the Star of David, glowing geometric symbol, and I looked in the middle of it and I seen an eye. Right? I'm telling you, I've seen this in my mind. I wasn't taking any drugs, I wasn't taking any medication either. This just come through, and apparently that is the, you know, the heart chakra has got a symbol. If you look at the heart chakra, it's the symbol is the macabre, the Star of David. It's in two triangles, two opposing triangles, one on top of each other. Right, so I started to see that glowing in my mind. Right, this is before I went up to the secret garden on the 17th. So I had all that, there was other things happening as well. Just like spiritual things. Yeah, I mean, if you watch my last video, I was speaking about some of the things that I wrote down on that notepad thing I had. I was writing down, I was drawing things. Anyway, I went up to the secret garden that day on the 17th, and by the way, I had been told that it was up there. A lot of people in the hospital told me, you know, there's a secret garden up there. I was like, what? And it was, so I eventually went up, right? And it happened to be on the 17th. It just all happened in sequence. I eventually walked up there, and what I found was a really interesting area. I'll overlay the picture. Really interesting area. Now, basically, that area is an energy vortex. Right? There's a tractor up here. I've never even been up this way. Basically, that area, you see it on the pictures, right? It's an energy vortex. Very potent earth there. And I felt it. As soon as I walked into that space, I felt it. I felt the pull. I felt it pulling me, right? So apparently was harmonising with the physical world. There's a lot of strange things just going on, right? So this is going to help me understand it when I'm speaking about this, because I'll watch this back and I'll be able to relive it, because I've been reliving it. And it's because it's a bit weird to talk about, but I need to talk about it because I want to understand. I want to actually talk about it. It's very difficult to talk about this. This is probably why it's taking so long for me to speak about it on here. Right, so basically I've went up and I was on fire, right? My hands were on fire with the Holy Spirit and the Holy Flame. And I've seen these purple flowers. I'll show you them. I'll overlay the picture. And I've went up to this purple flower, right? I've knelt down and I've cupped it in my hand because I felt something coming from it. I was doing this with my hands and I could feel it right now. And it's not just the heat off the ground, it's something else. So there's these purple flowers, right? And I've done that with my hands, and before this I was doing a lot of exercises and stretches and just stretching and tensing, all that kind of stuff, you know, Reiki, breathing exercises. And so I've done that with my hand and cupped this flower, and I felt something really strange, right? And I've cupped it like that, not touching it. I wasn't touching it, I was just cupping this flower, and I felt something from it. Anyway, so I was doing that, right? I walked over to another place, I seen another flower, purple flower. I knelt down. This is all being led and guided to do this. They're totally in a heart space. And then, see, I'm trying to remember. I've been reliving this. Oh, so what happened next? What happened next was I've walked around. You see it on the picture, there's like stumps, there's like tree stumps with reflective panels on them. Okay, this area is a specific area, right? And I felt it when I went in there. So I've started walking around the place, you know. And I've stopped, right? And what I've done was, I've just fell to the ground onto my hands, right? Right, I'm trying to explain this as clear as I can, right? So imagine you're just standing up, right? So you're just standing. Imagine you're just standing, right? And you fall to the ground, but you save yourself with your hands. Right? Can you picture that? That's what I've done. I've just fell to the ground like boom, and caught myself with both of my hands, and then I've slowly sank onto the soil and put my face on the soil, right, and just laid there just laid there, just breathing and completely relaxed, so relaxed and clear and relaxed, right? No, what happened was, this is hard to explain, man. What happened? Well, I'll talk about that in a second, right? About what I saw in my mind's eye. But I felt as if I went into the ground, into the earth, and there was a dark shaft. It wasn't a hole. It was like a. Wait, actually, let me explain this, right? So I've laid on the ground. I've laid on the ground for 2 minutes, right? And in that 2 minutes, I've gone into some kind of altered state, and my etherical body has bloody fell into the ground, and I fell through into the earth, and I started to see things. Actually, I didn't see anything until, wait, hold on, mate. So I fell into the ground. And at some point, right, I've decided to look, because I felt as if I was falling like I was inside the earth. Like my etherical body was like deep under the earth, inside the earth, moving through it. So at the 2 minutes had passed, right? This is before it got really, really wild. A couple of minutes passed, and I decided to look, not with my eyes, but to look with my mind's eye, like where I was. And I've opened my mind's eye, and I've saw a shaft, right? And it was if, at the time, it felt as if my third eye had borne a shaft through the ground, and I could see through this really dark shaft, and I was travelling through it. But see, I used the word bore, but it wasn't a circular hole. It was a shaft. It was a long shaft, but it had light in it. It had light down the sides. Okay, so I'm travelling down this shaft to see what was through it, and at the bottom of it, right, I started to see something. What I saw was, do you know, when you get a church and you get the steeple, not the steeple, you get the face of a church, and you've got the triangular part, and you've got like circular windows and circular windows, right, with stained glass, which glowing. That's what I saw. Down there, I saw a glowing stained glass, glowing circular stained glass windows inside of a triangular, and it looked like the side of a church. Right, now as soon as I've seen that, right, I don't know, my body has become shocked. My body's become shocked, and I started to hyperventilate. Okay, and I couldn't move, right? So at that time I seen that, and it was like my body must have been in shock. And so I've tried to get up. I mean, half of me's awake and half of me's down there. So I'm trying to move, I'm trying to stand up, but I couldn't move. I was lying on the ground with my face in the dirt. I couldn't move, I couldn't hardly breathe. I had to turn my face to the side so I could breathe. I couldn't even lift my body up off the ground. And so I was really starting to struggle, right, because something was pulling me down. And it felt as if it was like, see when you have a cold shower, and you feel that, the cold water hitting you, and it's like, it's my cough. I've had a bit of a cough for the past couple of days. See when you have a cold shower and you feel like that hyperventilation, that's what was happening. I started to hyperventilate, and I was like, right, it started to get really, really wild. But I started to struggle. I couldn't move. I was trying to stand up, I couldn't stand up, because it was as if my spirit was down there, and right, it was disconnected. This is the way I'm trying to explain it. It was as if my spirit was down in the ground, but my body was disconnected, and my body was experiencing what my spirit was feeling, and so my body was really, 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 really writhing and like tensing. And the only way I can explain it is this: when you have a cold shower, that's what it felt like. And I can't express enough this time. It must have been, well, it went on for about an hour actually. It was an act. It went on for an hour of me writhing on the ground, hyperventilating and snorting, right? And trying to pick myself up, and it got to the point where I couldn't move, and my body was being like really, like it was all tensing up, and I was like there's something going on. I can't even explain it right now, but I think this is going to help me to understand it more. I was speaking about it, right? So this has gone on for over an hour. Right, I've started to scream, like but I had to keep my voice down because I was in a psychiatric ward. Okay, and I was only 15 metres away from the ward, and so I'm on top of this hill in the secret garden in this energy vortex, right, being pushed through this cold flame, because that's what it was, is a cold flame. I was down there. My spirit was being was I can't even explain it properly, right? Anyway, I'm trying my best to explain this. I was there for about an hour, writhing, screaming. You would think I was in like some kind of pain, but it wasn't pain. It was as if there was like cold water being. This is the only way you can describe it, is as if you were being what's the word? I can't even find my words right now. Okay, so this went on for an hour. On the ground, writhing, screaming, shouting. And I know it was something that was oh man, I can't even speak about it anymore. Right, let's just stop it right there, right? For a second and just move on. So I've eventually, people have came up, right? There's 3 people have came up. 3 people on the ward that I knew, right? They've came up and I was really rolling around on the ground, like struggling. I've never struggled so much in my life. I couldn't get up. I wasn't on drugs. I wasn't on medication either. It was the ground took me, the earth took my spirit, and my body was feeling it, right? So these 3 people have came up, and it's hard to explain, man. It's really hard to explain because I'm really in some state, and I've kind of forced myself to get up because I felt embarrassed. I felt embarrassed, man, because these 3 people have came up and I'm fucking rolling around on the ground, writhing, making loads of noise and snorting sounds, and I'm like, and they didn't look at me like, whoa, what the f... They were really respectful, as if they were like 3 fucking angels that walked up. It was like after a good 40 minutes. These people walked up and I've kind of forced myself to stand up. I forced myself to stand up, okay, because I felt as if really embarrassed, like, wow man, what is going on? I need to stand up and get a grip on myself, but I couldn't. I basically struggled to my feet, and I was stalking about and I could hardly stand up straight, and I was like as if I was some kind of drunken. I couldn't find my balance, and I've walked up to it. I've kind of stumbled over to a tree stump, and the tree stump had a spiral on it, like a spiral. When I've looked at the spiral, and I'm like, actually, right? No. See, after I've forced myself up when these 3 people came up, I've grabbed my cup of coffee because I came up with a cup of coffee, right? I grabbed my cup of coffee and started to like stumble away from the area because I had to get away from there. And I've seen this, I had a cup in my hand and I've seen this stump on the ground and had a spiral, and I've looked at it and I've just kind of stopped and felt all floaty, and I've dropped my cup and it smashed. Well, it didn't smash, I dropped the cup. You can imagine you can imagine the scene, right? So I'm stalking about like, wow, I'm stalking about trying to gather myself, and so I forced myself to move out of that ground and move across to the grass, and I've got into the grass and I've started to roll around, and I needed to do that to get the residual energy off me, whatever that was, and so I had to do it each arm. So I was after that, it was quite an ordeal. It was over an hour. So it was. I mean, it wasn't. It's hard to explain. It was quite an ordeal, but I'm not traumatized by it. If you know what I mean. And so, what's happened next? So, I've moved from that area. You'll see it on the pictures. I've moved from the area onto another area of grass, which is away from the energy vortex, because it was potent, powerful ground. So I've struggled. If it wasn't for those 3 people coming up there, I think I would have lost my mind. But I don't think that would have happened. I would have dragged myself out of there. But I could feel that type of thing, like really driving you insane and taking your mind if you don't know what was going on there. Wow, it's pretty serious, by the way. You can get disconnected from your consciousness and from your mind for forever. I think that's what I felt, but I was absolutely fine. There's a lot of smoke up here. So next thing that's happened was we've got to this piece of grass which was at the side of the, you know, there's a hill going up to the secret garden, and then across from it there's grass, and so I've started to lay in the grass and do each of my arms, stretching them on the grass, like rolling around on the grass while I'm still in some state. Like, I can't even explain it. I was in some state, but I was all there. It was something that my body had to go through. And so I've done each arm, then I've done my chest. It's hard to explain this because I'm lying on the ground, kind of rolling around, and kind of, it's as if something under the ground was pulling me. There was something under the ground pulling me, right? Pulling my spirit and pulling my energetic body. And there was residual stuff that I had to get rid of, and so I was doing my legs as well. So I'd basically done my whole body and got rid of all the residual energy there. Or maybe got it back, because I felt as if that land had pulled my energetic body down there. And it was, you might think that was quite a traumatic experience, you know, but see afterwards, after I've got myself together and walked back down there, it was absolutely fine. Guys. Right, no, there's something else, right? Because see, while I was on the piece of grass, getting all the residual energy, getting my energetic body back, probably because it was down into the ground. Okay, the police phoned me. Right, the police phoned me on. Oh no! By the way, I'll tell you, while I was on the ground, after I had moved and rolling around and getting rid of the residual energy, my phone, I've started to feel weird energetic stuff off my phone, so I've grabbed it out of my pocket and I've flung it 5 foot away from me, and then continued to roll around on the grass like some kind of mad person. But I wasn't mad, because I just felt as if I had to do that. So after it was kind of, I felt like a sense of normality, I sat up. I sat on the grass and just sat there and just to gather my thoughts, and I was absolutely fine. And I kept saying at the time, you know, I'm fine. Kept, like, I didn't want anybody to come up and disturb me, or I didn't want anybody to come up and help me, because it's something I needed to go through. And I think if anybody had come up and disturbed that, then fucking wow, man, it would have been serious, because I would have looked bad, and it just would have been a complete mess if anybody had came up there. And those 3 people that came up there, see the way they were walking, they were really like, wow, they were like spirits. They were like spirits, those 3 people. They just slowly, see that energy, they like slowly walked. They didn't, I mean, I was rolling around in the grass, and these 3 people came up to me, and they're like, oh Paul, you okay? Wow, what's going on? They just slowly, calmly walked, like really calm, and walked past me, right? And they just went over to sit on the tree stumps, right? They just walked right past me, you know. And then that thing with the cup happened, where I stood up and I dropped the cup and I kind of leant on it, and then I went over the other part. But anyway, when after I had sat up, my phone rang, and it was the police. right, there was the police phoned me, right, it was like, alright Paul, we're just checking to see if you're okay, because you've been reported missing from the ward, right, so I was reported missing because I was gone for over an hour, and I was only 10 minutes, I was only 10 metres away, but you couldn't see me because of the bushes, right, so they thought I had gone missing, so they had been reported missing from the ward, so the police came. I've walked back down. The guy's on the phone and I'm like, yeah, I'm fine, yeah, I was just getting some sun. I'm just getting some sun on the hill. And he's like, well, you've been reported missing, could you tell me where you are? He's quite nice and respectful, you know, he wasn't like wanting to arrest me and all that. So I said, I'm basically 15 metres away from the ward, sitting on the grass, looking over at the ward. And he says, oh, alright, that's cool then. But if you could just come into the office so we could speak to you. And so, I've got my stuff together. Brushed all the dirt off me because I had dirt on my face. Had dirt all over me. So I was still smart looking, mate. So I just walked down the hill into the ward, and I've told the member of staff, oh, you know, I was only 10 metres away on the. And she said, that's fine. So I went into the shower. It's funny because after all this happened, I felt as if I needed to go into the lake. I was calling out, take me to the lake, take me to the lake. I don't know who I was talking to. But this is before the police called me. After this had happened, I forgot to mention that I felt as if I needed to go to the lake, so I did. That's another thing. But anyway, we went back into the ward, and I went into the shower, and a member of staff has come into the shower. I'm naked in the shower. Like, what do you want? So, oh, the police want to see you. So, right, I've got dried, I got my clothes on, I went straight into the office, and there's two policemen in the office, and they just wanted to see if I was okay, because the staff couldn't see me for 10 minutes, and well, it was longer than 10 minutes, and he said he just wanted to put eyes on me and to see if I was okay, and he didn't write up any paperwork, and it didn't like influence my time in there, because I says, oh, is this going to influence how long I'm going to be in here for, you know? And he's like, no, it's alright. So that was alright. So went back into the and I had to say to the staff, next time you go up there, then just to let them know. Then I went back into my room, and 10 minutes later the staff have came in and given me an Easter egg. I'm like, what? That's just what I need. Just what I need, you know, because I need like some energy. It's like perfect timing. Because after all that writhing around on the ground, it's midges. All that writhing around on the ground, and it's expended a lot of energy. So I was hungry, I was starving. And the staff came in and gave me an Easter egg. So it was a nice timing. No, see when I look back at that, right? See when I look back at when I fell to the ground. Now, just imagine, right? Imagine you, right, standing up and falling to the ground onto your hands. I looked at that, right, and I seen myself. See when that happened, I seen myself. See when I fell onto the ground, I seen myself go boosh right into the ground and deep into the earth. As soon as I hit the ground, I travelled down a shaft, a dark shaft that had light in it. Ever since then, when I came out of the hot, ever since that time, I've been sensitive to magnetic fields. Ever since that happened, I've been extra sensitive to magnetic fields and to energy and things like that, and I felt as if my whole body had changed. Remarkable thing that's ever happened to me, and so think of that what you will, right? I know what it was. and it just happened to be on, guess what day it was? Obviously, it was Easter Sunday. I felt as if I had been reborn. Easter Sunday that happened, and that day, it was just really organic. My whole life led up to that day, and I feel as if I'm reborn. It's the only way I can describe it. So I can't state enough, like, the vision I had in my mind of when I hit the ground, and my etherical, energetic, bioenergetic, not my bioenergetic field, but my energetic body went into the ground and into the earth, and I was taken on a journey. I was reading the emerald tablets of Thoth in that hospital, and it all kind of synchronized to everything that was happening, what he was talking about, and it was very, very strange what he was speaking about the cold flower. I felt as if I got a first-hand experience with that. Not just that, I mean, see when he describes the halls of Amenti that lead into the centre of the earth, he said there were halls filled with light. Well, that's basically what I saw. And it had light in the edges, and I mean, how can you see in a dark shaft? Think about it. How can you see a dark shaft? It must have had light in it. So now if you read the emerald tablets, and Thoth is talking about the halls of Amenti, he's talking about halls filled with light that lead down to the underworld. The way people were acting when I came out of the hospital as well, I felt as if, I don't even want to say it, but I felt as if, see, every person I went past, they were bowing, because I was in such a holy state. Right, seriously, I was walking past people and they were all bowing as I was walking past them. And so it was in such a clear, really clear consciousness state. And if you think back about, I was seeing geometric shapes in my mind's eye. I mean, put it all together. I mean, what is it? Oh. Right, so I think I'll just leave it there. But I mean, that's my experience, right? And I am really, I wouldn't say struggling, but I'm really pushing to understand all of this. And I think, you know, we've all got the potential to reach a clear state where we can harmonise with the physical world, and I think that's what's been happening as well. The strange things happen to me every day. You wouldn't believe it. See, the synchronicities are off the freaking charts. I don't even think about it anymore, because it's just non-stop, constant cosmic contact, non-stop, you know. And see, if it wasn't for the people and everything they've done, I don't think we would have a chance to evolve and initiate from Earth. You know, there's a bigger plan going on, man. There's something. This thing is much bigger than you think it is. It's not for the petty reasons for you think, like to steal your soul and all that kind of thing. There's a lot more to it than that, you know. And I know that people have got the potential. People have got the potential to reach a stage where you are so clear that you can be contacted by the universe, and they can help you, guide you in your life. Each individual is a centre of their universe. So be the best you can be, you know, and just try and achieve whatever you want. You know, some days could be harder than other days. I've got a lot of stuff going on at the minute with my son. I'm getting put through hell right now, but this thing is not stopping whatever's happening. You know, I miss my boy. I went to take my boy out. I've had my son stolen from me by a wicked, evil woman. And my family's my family's acting strange as well. Yeah, my family's all acting really strange. It's like they're trying to attack my boy's future. There's a real attack going on with my son, you know, and it's coming from my family. So imagine all of this kind of thing happening while you're going through that. You know, I think the whole world should be interested in this, but I'm getting shadow banned and I feel as if, well, sometimes you feel as if nobody's listening. I mean, imagine going through all this kind of thing and not having, you just want to shout to the rooftops about what's going on with you, but you can't. And I'm being looked at by the family court as if I've got some kind of mental health problems as well. I'm really, really freaking healthy, but I'm having people make out that I'm got mental health problems. I'm not capable to look after my own son. Yeah, I'm having some kind of mad spiritual experiences. Really big time, right? So if in one world I'm getting made out to be some kind of freaking mental case, in another world I'm one of the most healthiest people on this world right now. You know, some days are more difficult than other days. Sometimes you can't wake up out of bed, you know, because of what's going on, but you get up eventually. You know, you can't sleep in for too long because it makes you feel more tired. If there's any advice I would give to people out there who are in the first stages of this thing, you're in the first stages of this, you need to change your lifestyle. You need to get rid of old habits that are not serving you. You need to get out more and stop looking at people as if they're your enemy, that they're out to get you. If you stop looking at the world like that, and maybe give people time, give yourself time, because we're being observed by multiple. We're being observed by multiple different forces right now, and all of that creates a huge feedback. You know, I spoke about this in my last video. There's an observation effect. When you're being observed, you can feel really self-conscious, and you need to get past that. Enhance your self-awareness, so your self-awareness can become heightened when you know that you're being observed. And it can cause all sorts of issues. It can put a huge weight on you, a huge amount of pressure on you when you know that you're being observed. So you need to get past all of that, because that is a factor. It's a huge factor. I mean, I've felt this for a long time, you know. I've felt it since I was a teenager, really. I remember one time I was sitting having a smoke with my mates when I was like 16, and I felt as if I was in a movie. I felt as if I was in a movie and everything was black and white. You know, it might not be far from the truth. That's what I felt at the time. So, and another thing, right, I'm a musician, and so I know what it's like. I put myself under pressure all the time. And see, when you're a musician and you record, see, as soon as you press record, this is a way of trying to explain the observation effect and the weight that it puts on you and how it makes you feel, because I've felt it for a long time. Because see, when you press record, when you try, see if you're playing the piano and you want to record yourself, you press, see, as soon as you hit that button, record, that red button, boom, the weight's on you. You feel nervous. There's like a double effect there, because you're also observing yourself but you know that you're being recorded, and there's a pressure that gets applied there. And I mean, I've felt that for a long time. So maybe that's helped me, because I think I put myself under pressure. That kind of pressure for a long time, you know. You know, some people, when they feel like they're being observed, they feel really self-conscious, and it can actually expand your awareness. I've got a ridiculous court hearing going on. You know, I met a girl years ago, right? And we were trying for a baby, and it didn't happen. We were going to go through IVF. She had tried IVF with a previous partner, but it didn't work. She couldn't get pregnant. I've turned up, right? I've turned up into her life, and I've gave her what she's always wanted, which is motherhood and a child. It was a son. I've gave her a son, which she's always wanted. And now she's using that child to try and harm me, to try and attack my emotional and energetic body. This monster. Okay, so it seems as if my son's under attack, and he is under attack. They're trying to stop me from being in my son's life and all the things that I've got to teach this wee boy. All the things I want to teach him. I want to take him fishing. I want to teach him how to be. I want to teach him how to take care of himself. All the normal things you want to take care of your son, your family, of him. All of that taken from me by this person who stole my son. I've applied for a C100 form to get access to my boy, because he's totally done the zero contact thing. Completely zero contact. Put me through absolute hell for the past 4 years now. She's got me arrested multiple times through lies. I've got a psychiatrist calling me in September to do a psychiatric evaluation over the phone. No, but it's being done via an independent psychiatrist, which hopefully they can clear a few things up. You know, and hopefully this psychiatrist can evaluate me and see that, and make a report, and then put that to the court, and hopefully she's not going to be biased and not twist my words. There's a lot of people trying to twist my image right now. Fuck them. I'm bigger than them. A lot of stupid people trying to twist me. Little stupid, little petty, little tiny people try to twist me. Right, when they can't even self-reflect and look at themselves. As if they did look at themselves, it'd be a fucking horror show because of everything they've done in their life. And everything they're doing now to me and to my son is just an extra stain on their soul. They won't be able to, I mean, these people can't sleep at night, man. They need sleeping tablets to sleep. They've got no chance in hell. I've got another 5 months until I can see the outcome of this hearing with my son. And hopefully I can get to see him and take care of him, because there's forces in my family and my ex-partner who are wanting to destroy my son's life. And it's evident that they're wanting to do that because they're wanting to keep me out of his life. And so they're wanting to bring my son up without a father. And she's also got another guy around him. My ex-partner's got this strange guy around my son. So she kind of deleted me out of his life and then brought this strange man into his life who's not his biological father. He's got nothing to give my son, really. You know, you see when you've had your own child stolen from you, and then you get slandered. Like, oh, he's mental. He's this, he's that. There's just people trying to twist your image and trying to invert what you are. Happens all the time. You've just got to have the discernment to know, and the strength to survive all this, because I've had some amount of strength to survive all of this bullshit. I mean, there's always other people in the world who are going through things worse than yourself, you know, and then there's other people going through things worse than I'm going through right now. But there is light at the end of the tunnel. Just keep yourself healthy. Keep yourself healthy. Change your lifestyle. Get back to the basics. Get back to nature. And just follow the path. Follow the path where it takes you. Listen to your inner voice and do what it tells you, and don't ever ignore it, because you get mentally ill if you're not following. If you're not where you should be, then you're not where you should be.